I'm Cherish Burnham and I live in Roswell, Georgia. My kids have stayed virtual in school. That's been extremely difficult, and we will continue to do it into the new year. My mom actually had a heart procedure right before everything shut down in March. And so she lives here. And so the only people we've ever spent time with are my mom and my dad, who live nearby, but it's not often. It's been a handful of times since March. And so we don't want to pass anything to her, and we want to protect ourselves. And my children have medical conditions. Two of them have a syndrome that put them at high risk for cancer, and they are on IEPs, they have disabilities. Being in this environment is difficult for them, but at the same time, it keeps them safe. And we're playing our part, wearing our masks, not going anywhere but the grocery store. We haven't been to restaurants. We not even eating outside. The boys don't go to the grocery store with me. Very often they've been twice since March. We go for walks along the river, but basically we just stay at home, and it's me going out to get necessary things, and that's it. It's less about health and Georgia and, the hospitals closing in rural Georgia, and not having a doctor in certain counties, and not having access. And then if something happens and you don't have insurance, you lose everything. And so those are not the things that seem to be their priority, clearly. And so when they say that they want something different, I think it's more about profit and less about people. And they say you can't stop your life. If you stop the economy, then, more people suffer. And it doesn't make any sense to me when I see people like in my community going to weddings, and everyone's maskless, and they're posting them on social media, smiling cheek to cheek, kissing each other on the cheeks. Football games in large stadiums maskless, and taking vacations, Thanksgiving break and fall break in September, and they're going to restaurants, they're going to movie theaters, walking around Target this week without masks on, even though it clearly says you have to wear a mask to shop in the store. And they're acting like it doesn't exist. And they say it's because they can, they want to keep people working, and they don't want businesses to close, which many did. And it's heartbreaking. The flip side of it is when we do those things, millions of people will die. Our hospitals will not be able to take patients. They'll be overflowing, turning people away. People will be dying in their homes, as we've discovered even recently in a neighborhood near where I live. An elderly woman stayed in her home. This happened in the last week. She stayed in her home, and she was sick. She didn't go to the hospital, and she died alone at home. And when I hear people say, well, the economy is more important than people's lives, and they don't say it that way. They say it as in, well, people die of the flu, and there are certain losses that happen. It's an acceptable loss. So the elderly community, the vulnerable, those with medical conditions, you shelter in place and don't go anywhere. If you're afraid, stay inside while we go live our lives like this doesn't exist, and spread it around where it never ends. And that's the thing. The economy would stay open if people would just play their part. They would do their part. They wouldn't be super spreader events. If everyone would just wear a mask, and the percentage would go drastically down if everyone would just do that. And so that's what I keep saying.